back to That Dad Guy. It's June the 3rd, 2023, which means it is Saturday. It's the first Saturday of the month, which is one of my favorite videos, or is becoming one of my favorite videos to do. It's because it's the most interactive that I have with you folks. The first Saturday of every month, I ask a question of you. I give you a whole month to send me postcards in with your response, and then the following first Saturday of the next month, I read those responses. So that's what we're going to do today. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you the new question that you'll have for the month of June to get your responses in for me to read them out the first Saturday of July. Is that simple? What question are we doing today? Well, the first Saturday of May, I asked you, what is your favorite game to play and why? It could be a board game, a card game, a video game. You name it, you let me know. And you did. You sent me in some cards, some envelopes. We're going to go through those today. And then at the end, I'll read you the new question. So let me just set this aside because I don't need that binder for right now. We're going to go with question number 1 that came in. Not question 1. It's question number 4, because that's the 4th question I've done for you. This one comes from Lieve in Belgium. Look at all these beautiful greenery spaces. She says, it's easy. The month, no games. She's not into games. She doesn't like video games, board games, no card games. In their free time, we love to go hiking in nature, and this card also shows the area they often spend the weekend. So, yeah, some people aren't into games. That's okay, too. And you're all right to answer in that fashion. Oh, there are the stamps that she used from Belgium. Not everyone is into games. And how we spend our free time should be the best for our mental health. So if you're a hobbyist and your free time is going through your stamp collection or your coins or your postcards or your Lego, do that. If your free time is playing a card game with your kids or just sitting down in solitude with headset on and playing a video game, or getting together with friends and going out and playing a football game or a baseball game, do that too. Whatever makes you happy. And that's what this is about. You're getting to spend a couple minutes here with me. We're watching this video. We're going through an interactive thing with the community. Maybe that's your free time. So thanks for spending it with me. All right, this next card comes from Judy in Florida. You can see the famous dogs playing poker. This is one of those images. Before I go into the game, I gotta show the back. Look at all these stamps. These ones in particular, you know, the Canadian International Philatelic Exhibition. And these birds are cardinals, mallards, Canada goose, blue jays, all birds you find up here. I love that this is one giant sheet for the souvenir. All right. That's for the stamp collector in me. So thank you, Judy. Her answer was, with my husband, we play a game of Pinochle. So I'm going to throw that up here. And with their granddaughter, they play a game of garbage. So Pinochle I had heard of. And let me just pull up rules here. I didn't have it originally. Put the keyboard over here. I never even thought about putting the rules of this game up at first, but garbage I did know. Okay, Pinochle, each trick consists of a lead and a play. The non-dealer leads, therefore the winner takes each trick in the next. So it's a trick game has trump, wins a trick unless the opponent plays a higher trump. So yeah, it's trump version game. So there's always a highest card or a highest suit, and you can win games that way. That's the basic versions of what Pinochle is. There's a lot more rules to go through. We're not going to go into every single one of them, but I do want to get into garbage because garbage was one I hadn't heard of. So let me just pull that up as well, because that one I was really kind of keen on when I read about it. Let me just grab it here. I do apologize that I didn't have this up ahead of time on the system. I was looking at it on my phone, and all right. So once again, another garbage game. Make sure I pull the right one. Each player draws 10 cards, placing the remaining cards in the middle of the table. That's the draw pile. Each player arranges their cards in lines of 5. So you've got 2 lines of 5, 10 cards. So the cards you're trying to collect are ace through 10, and then Joker, Queen, and King all become cards that end your turn, and you've got 10 cards in front of you. You're trying to turn those cards up facing. So if you draw from the pile and you draw a 10, then you put it in the 10 spot. Whatever card was in that 10 spot, you throw in the discard pile, and the next person may really want that card. If it comes around to your turn and you draw a card that you already have turned up, so you draw a 10 the next turn, then your turn is over, you discard that card. If it's a 7, put it in the 7th place. Pretty simple, pretty basic for kids to play, and one I hadn't heard of before, so I'm really excited to try this game. My in-laws come over, we play some games, and so I think this will be a really good one to play. So thank you, Judy, for the card, for the responses. Pinochle one that I haven't played in a long time, but Garbage will be one I'm going to try. Okay, the next card comes from, we've got this Dungeons and Dragons card. Why do we have a Dungeons and Dragons card? Well, this comes from Robert in New Mexico. He says his favorite game to play is Munchkin. Also a game I had never heard of. Throw that up here too. He says it's a simplified version of Dungeons and Dragons. You don't have to get involved in the story. You kill monsters, you steal the treasure, and you stab your buddy. What else do you need? So once again, was a new game for me. You can see how the board is set up here. Not an elaborate board. It's a card game. Not cards like Jokers and Kings, but just a deck of cards and a playing board and a dice. So very cool. Another one of those games that if you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons or interested in something that doesn't have an extensive storyline, this might be the game for you. All right, Robert, thank you. No, and the stamp was the forever stamp. Gotta keep the hobbyists involved in here. All right, question number 4. The card goes this way. We've got a puppy post, but the writing on the back goes this way, so I'm going to flip it around. It says, my favorite game to play, this comes from Paula in South Carolina. My favorite game to play has always been the classic Monopoly. I'm with you, Paula. That is my favorite game to play, and I'll show you my collection too. I can play it for days when my family gets together. My nephew is the same, and I have been buying him special Monopoly sets to add to his collection. He's a collector of Monopoly sets. It's hard for me to play with no family near, so I have switched to playing Monopoly on my phone. That is something I haven't tried yet, so I may do that. I may try to download a Monopoly for my phone to see how it works out for me. Please tell us what your favorite game is. So Paula has asked what my favorite game is, and also Amber from Missouri sent me a comment on last week's video saying that if I don't answer it this week, it'll carry over to the next week, so I might as well answer it. I'm also a big Monopoly fan as far as favorite games, so I'm going to take the camera down. So down in the basement where I keep the games, Monopoly, there's the 60th anniversary of Monopoly, which came out in 1995, so you can see how much older Monopoly is now. When my wife and I finished university, we went off to travel Europe for a few months, and while we were in London, we went into Harrods, and we went to the game section, and I saw all the different versions of Monopoly that you could buy, or at least at that time, that Harrods had. And up until that point, I've been a collector. When I was younger, I collected things like coins or stamps or comic books, all things that I thought, well, one day would have a great value. So I collected them because one day I could get rich off of them, I guess is what I was thinking. But when I got a little older and I saw these Monopoly sets, I thought, you know, I want to collect Monopoly sets because it's different. Not because they're going to be worth a lot, because I really enjoy the game. Some of these sets were never even opened. This one here has never been opened. The seal's still on it. Ones like Lord of the Rings, my kids opened because they got interested in Lord of the Rings and wanted to play. But it's one of those games that you have to have a lot of time to play. You have to have people that want to play it with you, and I started to run out of people that wanted to play the game with me. So my collection didn't get very big. I got to the point where other people started buying me Monopoly things, so I have smaller Monopoly sets too. But that kind of took the fun out of collecting it when other people started to buy the collection, so I stopped that. But it was one of those things, the first collection I did of something that I didn't think would have value, I just wanted to collect it. So Paula, my favorite game to play, as you can tell, was Monopoly. When it came into video games, I really liked the adventure type video games versus the shoot 'em up video games. So things like Zelda, Witcher, games like that that are more newer ones, I guess, that have an adventure and a storyline that you had to go through. I like playing those. Or with my kids, we always played Mario Kart or Mario Party. Those are the video games we like playing. And then with my family, we get together, well, especially my in-laws, they come over and we play card games. We have a bunch of different card games we like to play. So yeah, we play a lot of games that way. All right, hopefully that answers your question, answers Amber's question as well. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, we've got this cute mailbox postcard. This comes from Amber in Missouri. And she says, I have several favorite games. The first is Stardew Valley as a video game. I'll put that up here. It is a video game that I hadn't heard of. So I looked it up. It's about farming. It's kind of a basic app or a video game that way that you're just kind of getting your resources and pets and whatever you have put together on your farm. So that's kind of cool. She says the board game she have is Settlers of Catan, which is a strategy game. I have seen it. I have played some of them. There's different versions that are out there now. It is a very intensive game. Let me just pull up the rules on that one too. There's a lot to it. It's a hexagon shaped board. You'll see it in the picture that I put up. And you are trying to get points, win points. You're building settlements. You're building cities. You have to collect resources, which allow you the chance to build these roads and cities. So you're trying to collect as many resources as you can. You're trying to get the longest road or the largest army. And so it's a lot of strategy. You're pitted against other opponents. You're trying to maneuver your way through the board and roll the dice. And so yeah, so it's a big strategy game. She says her favorite card game is euchre. And euchre is a trick-playing game in the Midwest. We have that here. I don't play it as much. We played it a lot in university. I think probably because we had a lot of students that came from Ontario, so euchre is big in Ontario too. And so once again, it's a trick-playing game. And yeah, I'll throw that up here. You've got some different pictures along the way. So thank you, Amber, for the cute card and your responses to all the different types of games that you enjoy playing. All right, the last one that I have that came officially through is this one here. This comes from Sam in Illinois, and she sent this card. I'm glad that it's not snowing anymore, but it's a cute image. It looks like a child pulling a sled through a snowstorm with a present on it. It says, it's a toss-up for me. She really loves playing volleyball, especially beach volleyball, because it's a lot more fun and pretty carefree, easy to dive in the sand. She also likes playing Yahtzee, so I'll throw that up here. Yahtzee, it's a dice game based on poker. You have to roll a certain combination with 5 dice. It's oddly fun, exciting, because it's all up to chance and you get pretty competitive with it. Yeah. So I have played Yahtzee. We do have that in our game collection as well. Sometimes Yahtzee comes in a cube and you shake the cube and all the dice fall out that way. Sometimes it's mostly it's in a cup and you roll the dice out. You're trying to get a combination of, a number of threes, maybe 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. So all the things that you might have in poker. And you get an option of collecting either the run or straight that you have that time, or maybe a higher number of a single digit dice, so like 3 2s or 4 2s, because they each have a value too. So, and it's all a point system. So I'll throw that image up there. And who doesn't like a little volleyball in the sand? Especially if you're watching Top Gun. A lot of people, that's their favorite part of Top Gun, the movie. I know my wife enjoys that scene. So that's what I have for cards that came in. I did have one from Media in Finland. She didn't send a card, but she did send me a response to the question, and she said her favorite game was Diamonds of Africa. No, Star of Africa. Yes, Star of Africa. It was or it is, a Finnish board game that was developed in 1951. I'm going to throw that image up of the board. Very popular in Finland and Sweden. And your starting points are either Cairo or Tangier. You have to go through different settlements. You're trying to get that one token piece that's the Star of Africa and return it to Cairo or Tangier before someone else does. That's basically the name of the game. There are other things along the way that you can get. Let me just see here. Because it's a game I've never heard of, I was interested in kind of getting into what it's all about. So it says the board covers the continent of Africa with famous cities marked in big red circles with routes consisting of small black circles connecting them. The game uses dice and play money. The notes of the values are 100, 500, or 1,000 pounds are supplied. In the English version, they call them dollars. Of course, they change it for us. It includes a series of circular tokens, one token for each city. Tokens not matched with specific cities. Their only number is the same. You also get tokens that are bank tokens. You get gemstones, so rubies, emeralds, and topazes. You get a robber token. You get a horseshoe or a visa token. And you get the Star of Africa itself. So each turn, a player throws the dice and moves the given number of steps along the route. If they reach a city with its token still present, they have three options. Continue as normal, buy the token for 100 pounds, stay in the city. The following turn, the player may try to win the token by throwing the dice instead of moving normally. On a 4, 5, or 6, the token is won. Stopping short on a city is allowed. So if you roll a 6, it only takes you 5 to get to the city. You can stop at 5. If the player buys or wins a token, it's flipped over and the player acts according to the revealed token. So if it's a blank token, nothing happens. If it's a gemstone, you get the immediate value for that gemstone. Rubies are worth 1,000 pounds, emeralds are 600, and topazes are 300. Robbers, the player immediately loses all their money. A horseshoe or a visa acts as a substitute for the Star of Africa, but only after the star has been found. So then it's just a race to get back to those initial cities. If you have the Star of Africa, you're heading back to that city. If the Star of Africa has already been found and they're heading back and you get a horseshoe or a visa, you can travel back. And so the first one back wins. And you can travel by the walking pass, or you can take longer routes and take boats. Those all cost money too. So that's kind of the gist of things. I mean, there's more rules into it than that, but that's kind of how the game works. So sounds like a fun little game. It sounds a little bit like, well, there's a whole bunch of different games it could sound like, but it's a game unto itself. So I won't compare it to others. If you haven't heard of it, you should go look it up. You've seen the images. Maybe it's something you want. You can still buy these games. They're out there. They're on eBay. All of these games that I talked about are accessible. If you're interested in trying to find them, go for it. So thank you very much to everybody that participated this month. I really appreciate that. There's a bunch of things we've learned there, or I've learned. Maybe you've already heard of all these games and stuff and played them all. But the next thing we need to do, once you're a subscriber, I'm always going to say that if you're interested in the channel, please subscribe, please like, leave me a comment, participate in these monthly things. So you can do that two ways. You can answer the question that I'm about to read to you, and that gives you a whole month to send me a postcard to my address, which is in the description of the video. You can do that. You can leave me a question at the end of this video, and then next week I will answer those questions. So that's what I do on the Saturdays in between the first Saturday of each month. I answer your questions. So it's not always you answering my questions. It's community. We're working back and forth together. So if you leave me a question this week in this video, next week I'll answer it. And that's how it will carry on until we get to the next first Saturday of the month. So for the month of June, I'm asking you, and really it's Eric, my brother, who's asking you this month because he just had a birthday. He said, for my birthday present, I want to ask the next question for next month. And I thought that's easy enough to do. So Eric is asking, what is your favorite holiday? So that is the question for the month of June that will get you a chance. What's your favorite holiday? It could be a religious holiday. You might say Easter or Christmas is your favorite holiday. Why is that? Explain why. Why do you have good memories of that being your favorite holiday? Maybe your favorite holiday is a national holiday. Independence Day in the United States, July the 4th, or Canada Day, July 1st. What's your national holiday that you like to do? Maybe it's because of the events that go on, the fireworks or the barbecues that you have with your families. These are all suggestions of why you might like a holiday. Maybe the holiday is food related, and that's why you like it. It's the only time of the year that you get this special food. Maybe that's it. These are all clues and things of what you can say. But I'm curious to see what your favorite holiday is. Am I gonna have a bunch of cards in that all say the exact same holiday, or is it gonna be different holidays because it's coming from different countries? Maybe you're in Germany and Oktoberfest is your holiday that you really enjoy. Not every country has it, so it could be that. Maybe you're in Israel or Libya or China or Thailand. I'm waiting for postcards from around the world that are going to have all these interesting things that you want to talk about. Maybe it's not your favorite holiday, but it is something that you're proud of that comes from your area, and you just want people to know about it, so you send me a postcard with your answer. I don't know. So there you go. That is the question for the month of June. The first Saturday in July is July 1st. And that's why Eric picked this question, because July 1st is Canada Day. So we'll be doing this video on a holiday here. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about July 1st when we get to July 1st. So there you go. I'll set that aside. I want to thank you for participating. I want to thank you for subscribing. I just recently got to 800 subscribers. It dipped back down to 799, so I'm hoping it will go back up again and beyond. So you subscribing in this video may be the one that pushes it back into 800. Maybe you're the one that pushes it back into 900 by the time you watch this video. Who knows? Thanks for coming along, and have a magical weekend. What, Paula? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?